From meteorologist Jeff Smith. Jeff.
Opening the season with a difficult to forecast complex long duration storm, Joe. Winter storm warnings in effect here. Northwestern New Jersey, also into Pike County, Pennsylvania, Sullivan County, western Ulster County. These go into effect tomorrow morning and last all the way to 1 a.m. on Tuesday. You heard me say long duration, right? Winter storm watches in effect for much of the lower and mid Hudson Valley all the way into southwestern parts of Connecticut. Closer to New York City, but not including the city. We have winter weather advisories just off to the north and west right through Sunday at 7 p.m. So here's the setup. We have clouds already starting to increase from our south and west right now, actually made for kind of a pretty sunset out there. We have winds coming in from the north and northwest, kind of keeping that cold air in place. It's a two-phase system. First phase comes on through tomorrow. We have all this rainfall down here over parts of the Tennessee Valley. This will push into the colder air mass and start as a wintry mix before eventually going over rainfall here in the city, but staying as a wintry mix areas well north and west. The main piece of energy, though, still way out here over eastern parts of Nebraska. And this will move in during the day on Monday. And with that piece of energy is a lot of cold air in all levels of the atmosphere. So I think we'd change back over to snow during the day on Monday. And there could be some pretty hefty accumulations in parts of the area. So summing it up, wintry mix arrives late tomorrow morning. Probably turns to rain in the early part of the afternoon in New York City, but areas north and west of I-287 I think will remain icy. You'll have sleet, you'll have freezing rain, maybe a few snowflakes mixed in right through tomorrow night in those areas north and west. By the way, tomorrow, if we get a little bit of snow right off the top, there can be a coating to an inch in and around New York City and just north and west, maybe more like 2 to 3 inches well north and west before the change over to sleet and freezing rain. As that colder air moves in all levels of the atmosphere during the day on Monday, we turn back to snow with some very slick travel developing. I think the Monday evening commute could really be negatively impacted by this storm, more so than the Monday morning commute, because temperatures by Monday evening will be falling down below the freezing mark, potentially even down to the city. 41 right now in Central Park, also LaGuardia Airport, but you have numbers down to 30 at Newburgh, 29 at Monticello, 29 at Poughkeepsie. So this cold air banked not too far off to our north, and there's cold enough air available for this to come in as a wintry mix during the day tomorrow. We'll track it for you in the Futurecast. By sunrise tomorrow, not a whole lot going on. Just clouds will have lowered and thickened by that point. Those numbers are below freezing in the city, well below freezing off to the north. You're just beginning to see a little bit of mixed precipitation entering not too far from Philadelphia by that point. And then by late morning, you see the very leading edge of this precip shield is coming in as some snowfall over central parts of New Jersey. Now, it's probably rain right off the bat, places like Belmar and Toms River, where you're into the lower and middle 40s. As we head toward midday into the early part of the afternoon, we may get a little bit of snow and sleet for a couple of hours in the city, and then that goes over to rain, New York City, Long Island, and areas down towards, say, Middlesex County, New Jersey. Just off to the north and west by 2 p.m., though, and we're talking as close as much of Bergen County, much of Essex County, at least northwestern parts of that county, Rockland, Westchester, and points north and west. You're in the form of snowfall. You might get a pretty good thumping of snow right off the top in these areas, especially north and west of I-287 during the afternoon hours. And that could drop a quick 2 to 3 inches in these areas, especially up by I-84, parts of Orange County. By 5 o'clock, even there, you start changing over to something other than snow. Maybe there's some freezing rain, maybe there's some sleet, maybe there's a little bit of rain working its way into, say, parts of Westchester and Rockland, where those numbers go just above the freezing mark. But you notice you're below 32, well north and west, right through the night tomorrow night. And that's why icy travel can be a concern in these areas well north and west of New York City. Even if the snow comes to an end, you're still getting freezing rain and sleet there. Get a little bit of a lull in the precipitation tomorrow night into early Monday morning, and we're up to about 40 degrees in the city by 7 a.m. Monday. But then the colder air starts crashing in from the north and west, and our numbers will fall during the day, and I think that rain snow line will collapse in toward the coast so that by, say, the evening commute, we are getting accumulating snow in and around New York City. So the combination of tomorrow's front-end snowfall and then the back-end snowfall during the day on Monday, this is what we're thinking in terms of the combination with those accumulations. 1 to 3 inches, New York City, especially Manhattan and the Bronx and western part of Staten Island. up into southern Westchester County, southern coastal Fairfield County, Connecticut, and then back off to the west here towards, say, Essex, Union County, northern parts of Middlesex, Somerset, much of Hunterdon County, New Jersey. It's just a coating to an inch south and east of there. You really never get temperatures cold enough to accumulate readily in places like Long Island and also down over parts of the Jersey Shore. And really, south of a certain point down the Jersey Shore, you might see little or no snow from this system. But if you head farther north and west, we're talking north and west of I-287, all of a sudden you're talking about 3 to 6 inches. We're talking about places like northern Rockland, northern Westchester, Putnam County, northern Fairfield County, Connecticut, northern parts of Bergen County. We're talking Ramsey, Mahwah. We're talking northern parts of Morris County as well, especially along and north of I-80. Warren County, Sussex County in New Jersey, and basically the southern 2/3 of Orange County. North and west of there, so we're talking probably along and north of I-84, 6 to 12 inches of snow. Northern parts of Pike County, Pennsylvania, northern parts of Orange, much of Ulster, much of Dutchess, and much of Sullivan, except the northwestern part of Sullivan. It might actually be talking about a foot or more of snow before this is all said and done. Now, the atmosphere just has to have a little hiccup for this to shift farther south and east or farther north and west. So these numbers are subject to change, and I definitely encourage you to tune in all weekend, because this forecast is very complex. AccuWeather forecast for tonight: increasing and thickening clouds out there. Cold, that low going down to about 29. It's a wintry mix arriving by late morning, changing over to rainfall in New York City during the afternoon, but remaining as a wintry mix areas north and west of New York City, with very slick travel developing. That high getting up to 38 very late in the day in the city, but staying below freezing well north and west. Periods of rain, but a wintry mix well north and west. That could actually change over to snow in those areas well north and west by early Monday morning, by daybreak on Monday. That low tomorrow night going down to about 35. I think everyone gradually changes over to snow during the day on Monday. So we're calling tomorrow and Monday AccuWeather alert days. 37 for a high on Monday. Very late. I think the worst travel will be during the Monday evening commute. It's brisk. It's cold on Tuesday. About 40. Any precipitation is over by daybreak. Clouds and sun Wednesday. Maybe a rain or snow shower in here by Wednesday night into Thursday. At 9 p.m. on ABC 7NY, right here, we'll be having a Q&A, and we'll be talking a little bit more about this storm coming up for tomorrow into Monday. We'll send it back over to you, Joe.